this. This funny chaos on a stage is the world's first original solo play to highlight retail crime and loss prevention, and it's coming to the Northampton Center for the Arts. This comedy-drama story of self-discovery follows elderly security guard Steve Smelly. He thinks his complacency at a department store is a way of life, until a staff shortage hits the loss prevention department. Under the strict eyes of the evil corporate manager, Mr. Coldstone, Smelly is reassigned as a loss prevention detective to curb rampant shoplifting. If he fails, he will find himself out of a job. To make matters worse, he stumbles a shocking discovery that will not only test his loyalty to the store, but also his decision will impact his cherished relationship with coworkers. Don't miss this groundbreaking show, in which Ken Harris performs 12 characters in an 80-minute story that will leave you on the edge of your seats. Check out the show dates below and get tickets to Foes of a Minimum Wage Guard today.
This project is funded by a grant from the Springfield Cultural Council. Thank you.
I found Mr. Coldstone sitting at Mr. Shiver's desk. He's sipping through some documents, talking to himself.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
This man applied to be a police officer 6 times. He failed the psychological exam 6 times. Now his mother pulled strings for him to get this corporate job. 4 years ago, he left the dollar mart chain to work for Fashion Spear. He has been a pain in the ass to everyone ever since. Mr. Coldstone!
Smelly, have a seat. Thanks to a shoplifter walking out of the store without paying for a toaster oven, we lost 2 members of our department. At the store's exit, Carla took hold of the shoplifter's bag concealing merchandise. Before she could identify herself, the young punk knocked her on her ass. A witness said she withered like a dead sunflower.
Good Lord!
Randy violated store policy by pursuing the suspect into the parking lot. Customers and associates followed him out of the store and witnessed a mismatch. This maniac body slammed Randy and then struck him in the face repeatedly. Not only did Randy lose his teeth, but he also lost consciousness. A police officer happened to be patrolling the mall property. He intervened to arrest the perpetrator.
This is terrible! When Randy and Carla are well enough to return to work, we should throw a welcome back party for them.
They're never coming back to this store. Mr. Shivers called me down to the corporate office. As soon as I arrived, the paramedics were loading Carla into the ambulance. Her swollen face was beyond recognition. She looked at me with her one good eye and she mumbled, "I quit!" A lot of good that kickboxing academy has done for her. Who can expect much from a 100-pounder? I would have never hired her. As for Randy, he's in a coma at the hospital. Smelly, I don't mind my associates spinning the rules a bit, but you damn well better win. How the hell can we doctor our reports if we look foolish in public? A man in my position cannot look foolish. If Randy ever wakes up from La La Land, he's gonna find out he's missing more than cheeks. He will find a nice pink slip on the table near his bed.
Well, how soon would it be for you to pull officers from other stores to come in and help us?
Smelly, you've been working in this store since the Stone Age. Tell me what you know about shrink.
Well, shrink is merchandise or money that is lost in our day-to-day operations. It can be internal or external.
Tell me the difference between internal and external shrink.
Sir, why are you asking me this?
Because I can.
Internal shrink comes from our employees' errors or dishonesty. External shrink is caused by thieves outside of the company, leading to burglary and shoplifting.
Smelly, you impress the hell out of me. Your brain generates just enough sales to get by. What happens today will determine whether or not you remain.
Hello, welcome back to video 4 of Scriptropolis, a playwright's journey. I am Ken Harris, award-winning filmmaker, actor, writer, playwright of the solo play Foes of a Minimum Wage Guard, the world's first solo play to highlight retail crime, loss prevention, organized retail crime. And this video game, welcome back. Again, this is all free association, unscripted, just explain my journey as a writer and conveying my thoughts on paper and a journey to getting the story out onto a stage. And I did that. Couldn't have done that without the help of Springfield, Mass. Studios, Brian McFarland, and Anthony Zalzowski from Cellar Productions, and Denise Lanjanese from who's also a board member with the Springfield, Mass. Studios. So I explained my initial thought process, how I came with the idea out of thin air to writing the script. And I talked about how if you decide to write anything, whether it's a solo play or a screenplay or an essay, you have to choose the best time of day that's right for you to write. Me personally, I like to write after I get off from work. So I did most of my writing on the weekdays after work. Then the weekends I would edit and rewrite. But again, when I initially wrote the script, Foes of a Minimum Wage Guard, I just wrote it. It took me a whole week to write the script by longhand on a pad. And the proofreading, the rewrites, the editing, all that stuff, it was more time consuming than actually writing the first draft of the play with a paper and notepad. So that was an adventure. But when I look back on that, I value that. Then I talked about preparation and how I worked with Springfield, Mass. Studios to prepare putting on the play on the stage. And again, just to recap, you can record yourself. You can do it audio, you can do a video. You can also get feedback from friends. Honest feedback, that is. Just be careful with that one. And I also talked about if you wish to hire a freelancer to go over your work, if you can afford it, you can do that. Just be very careful with that. When I wrote books in the past, independent books, I used a platform called Upworks, where I would look for freelancers, and I found a couple of good freelancer proofreaders through there. But again, if you choose to decide to go that route, there's many different avenues out there or choices. Just make sure you do your homework. Up to the time now, I finished the script, and here I am preparing to do this play on stage, which is a tedious journey. It's a long journey. And I will tell you that when I'm indulging in rehearsals with Springfield, Mass. Studios, I was like nervous. Every night I would say to myself, oh, here I go. I'm rehearsing in front of with Springfield, Mass. Studio board members. And it felt like I was actually doing a play. It's like when you take a story that no one's familiar with and you're projecting that. There's something really special about that, and you're excited. But you're also, I felt a little nervous because I was hoping that it would come off where everyone can understand the story. And again, I used the script, because obviously I didn't memorize the script. So it was a process, and the rehearsals part, it took time. I had to remember the script before Springfield, Mass. Studios came on and helped me with the rehearsing and filming and getting some feedback from them. But it was up to me to
memorize the script. And again, how I did that was just memorizing 1 page or 2 page a day. Doing that, just taking it very slowly. So, yeah, again, leading up to the actual performance, the first show was July 21st in Chicopee, Massachusetts at the Knights of Columbus. And yeah, I was very nervous and excited at the same time. But prior to that, I mean, I had to really refine the script in a way because, of course, for example, you might make some changes later on. For example, in the very end of the story, my character, Steve Smelly, he watches his best friend, spoiler alert, he watches his best friend who's taken into custody. And there's a statement where Steve mentions, oh, he worked here for 20 years. He almost got away. All he had to do was survive 4 days. Something to that effect. And the director, Denise, told me, is that, you really want him to say that? It's like you want this guy to get away with his shoplifting that he's been doing. So I thought about that. I said, no, even though this guy's his best friend, I don't think Steve would want him to get away with it. So I had to change the script based on the director's recommendation. So instead, I replaced it with, Gus had worked for this store for 20 years. What a waste. What a waste. Instead of saying, oh, he was 4 days away from retirement. What a waste. What a waste. So I thought that felt better because the audience could relate to the main character and there could be some empathy and some compassion versus him feeling like, oh, Gus almost got away with it. So you might make little changes here and there based on your rehearsals or what you feel internally. You may feel like, oh, wait a minute. I don't like how this is going. I think I need to change this. So that's fine. Change is part of the process in this medium on the stage. So don't beat yourself up over that if you have to make any changes. But behind the scenes, I was very grateful to have Cellar Productions here to take photographs and also to film my rehearsals. And I was able to watch how professional videos are done because I can film myself, but there's some people that are a lot more better filmmakers than I am. And I'm so happy that Cellar Productions was on board, so I was able to look at some very good footages and then have an idea of what I need to work on. So that was great. The first show was on a Sunday. Again, it was in Chicopee, and I felt great. But when I look back on that, it wasn't like my best performance. My best performance, in my opinion, was the last show of the summer. It was at the Holyoke Media Center. But you learn as you go. It's like you take little steps and you learn a little more and you improve as you go along. That's the nature of the business. So yeah, that's is very tedious, but it's just something that's part of the business, what you have to do as an actor, just constantly improve your flow of things. But yeah, what else can I say? What I would say is I will talk a little about networking. If you prior to having your first show, I thought that if you have a lot of Facebook friends, the more Facebook friends you have, the more likely people will come out. Do not believe that for a second. I know some organizations or some individuals who have, like I have just under 800 Facebook friends. And I know people who have thousands, or the organization have thousands of followers on Facebook. But that don't mean they're going to dive into your content. So what I will talk about in the next video is email marketing, postcards. Postcards will cost you money. Email marketing, just be careful with that with the spam. But I guess it's how you word it, because you want to present yourself to a potential Patreon who will come out and see your show. So I'll get into that in the next video. But to sum up rehearsals, it's all about having fun and learning about yourself and just being better. And also, you have to have a routine. Again, I got off work from every day, and after I memorize the script, I rehearse 3 days a week. I was doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I would do something like from 5 to 6:30, rehearsing. So you have to have that commitment. You have to have that drive. If you have to go into an isolated place, like me, I would go in my basement. It's so dark down there and gloomy, but it's so quiet in isolation. There's nothing there but spiders. Spiders, you hear me? But do that. Do whatever you have to do, but make sure you do it. Just like when you had to put time aside for writing, you should put time aside for rehearsals. You have to do it. You have to have a routine. You have to be committed. If not, then what's the purpose? You have to enjoy it. And if you do enjoy it, you're going to feel good about yourself. And as you feel good about yourself, you're going to see improvement with your with how you're conveying your story, your own story. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The next video I'm going to go deep into the email marketing, postcards, and my different performances and my reflections on those various performances. And I'm going to share some additional footages. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again on the final videos for Scriptropolis episode 5. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.
Foes of a Minimum Wage Guard, written by award-winning filmmaker and actor Ken Harris. This funny chaos on a stage is the world's first original solo play to highlight retail crime and loss prevention, and it's coming to the Northampton Center for the Arts. This comedy-drama story of self-discovery follows elderly security guard Steve Smelly. He thinks his complacency at a department store is a way of life, until a staff shortage hits the loss prevention department. Under the strict eyes of the evil corporate manager, Mr. Coldstone, Smelly is reassigned as a loss prevention detective to curb rampant shoplifting. If he fails, he will find himself out of a job. To make matters worse, he stumbles a shocking discovery that will not only test his loyalty to the store, but also his decision will impact his cherished relationship with coworkers. Don't miss this groundbreaking show, in which Ken Harris performs 12 characters in an 80-minute story that will leave you on the edge of your seats. Check out the show dates below and get tickets to Foes of a Minimum Wage Guard today.